Hi, today we are going to discuss about the center and state relations. India is a quasi-federal state. First, let me tell you briefly about what is unitary form of government, federation, and what is quasi-federal. Unitary form of government is there will be only one government for the entire nation, or even for the convenience if you have some layers, but it is only that central government that is prevailing. There will not be having any autonomy for the states or maybe local units. Now the second kind of thing is a federation. Federation is a group of states coming together to be known as a one common identity, and at the same time they will be having their own freedom to move out of this federation whenever they want to. Is India having that freedom to move out of India's identity? Any part of India, is there any possibility of going out of the country? No, there is no possibility. India is a union of states, is being declared in the Article 1. India is union of states. So there is no part of the country having any right to cede away from the country. This is being declared in the Article 1 to 4 clearly. And now in this context we are having states. Then what is the purpose of states? We are having a huge diversity in our country. So to accommodate all these diversities, linguistic or maybe cultural or maybe geographical or economical, different kind of people are coexisting together in this vast country. Now here we are, to accommodate all of them, we need to have the two-layer structure, and we are having three-layered structure now: central government, state government, and local governments. Now these articles that are dealing with center and state relations are Article 245 to Article 293. If you just easily wanted to remember, then you just try to remove these things. This is Article 2 and 2. All these articles are being divided into legislative powers, executive powers, and financial powers. If you try to remember them in orderly fashion, now make just 2 on both the sides, and then 4, 5 and 6. 4, 5 and 6. 4, 5 and 6. After this, what happens is, it is 5 and 6 and then 8. Now here, according to this number, just minus one number that comes on the ending side of these articles that are dealing with the legislative powers, executive powers, and financial powers. Now after this, we are going to talk about particularly legislative powers. Now legislative powers are dealing from Article 245 to Article 255. Article 245 to Article 255. There are 4 aspects in these articles. There are 4 aspects in this article. What are those 4 aspects? These are the 4 aspects that are: one is a territorial extension. What is meant by legislation? Legislation is any law that is made by either parliament or local legislative assembly. Now here, whenever you make any law, what relations we are talking about? Legislative relations. That means law making relations. That means on central government law, what is the extent that this law will be applicable, and state government, what is the extent that these laws will be applicable. Now there are 4 conditions. Territorial extension of the state, center and state legislation. Territorial extension of center will be entire country or any part of the country, it can make any legislation. And then what is the state extension? It is only up to the area of the state boundary it can make any law that will be applicable in that particular area. And under any circumstance where there are one or more states have some nexus, they can make law. And then distribution of legislative subjects. Now there is some concepts called, there is some huge list of subjects that we can tax or make law on those subjects. When we are making law on that subject, there is certain thing called center only can do laws on that subject, state only can do law on that subject, and this concurrent subjects are both center and state can be doing laws at that particular area. Now here in the 7th schedule and article 246, it divides about central list, state list and concurrent list. What are the number of subjects that these central list, state list and concurrent list can do? Central list is where only the parliament can do law or make laws on this area. That is 98 subjects we are having, and state list we are having 59 subjects. Earlier it was 66 subjects, but there were 5 subjects being transferred into this area, concurrent list. Now this is very much important. What are those 5 subjects? We will be reading very soon. But before doing that, where does this division of subjects come from? Government of India Act 1935. Which act? Government of India Act 1935 has this basis of having central list, state list and concurrent list. But what is the major difference? When there is some residuary subjects, anything that is not coming under concurrent list or state list or central list will be known as a residuary subject. Now these residuary subject, who can make laws on that areas? Only now in those areas central can be able to do laws or frame laws on those areas. Now this is about the second one. First is territorial extension and the second one is distribution of subjects. Now parliamentary legislation in the state field. Now parliamentary legislation in the state field means, what does that mean? Whenever is there any possibility of parliament making laws that are related with the states? Yes, definitely. When there is exclusively Rajya Sabha request to make or pass any bill to make law particular to state, or when any particular area or particular state is requesting the central government to make laws on those areas, will be the conditions where the parliament can make laws in these areas. Now the central control over the state legislation. Now the central control over the state legislation, what are the areas central government is having the control over the state legislation is governor is a representative of the center. Though governor is appointed by the President of India, he is a representative of the center. Now the governor can be able to reserve some bills for the consideration of the President of India. Now President is having absolute veto on these bills that have been reserved. Apart from that, when there is a financial emergency, even the central government able to ask about the money bills of the state to be reviewed because of the financial emergency we are having in the country. Now these are some of the areas where we are having the center control over the state legislation. Now in this area there is conflict between center and state arised. Apart from that, there is a governor's issue also arised in our center and state relations. In that consideration, we have appointed some commissions and some of the committees also, and even Supreme Court has also intervened into this scenario. Apart from that, Niti Aayog is also talking something about center and state relations to be better and has better coordination. Instead of having competition, it should be a cooperative federalism. This should not be a competitive federalism. This should be a cooperative federalism for the betterment of the country. How can we achieve, and what are the committees that have been appointed for this will be discussed a little later. But for now, just look into these questions and try to think of the answers. Now, which of the following is not a subject under the union list as per the 7th schedule? Now what are the article or subject? This is the defense, police, foreign affairs, banking. Now police is the odd man out here. Police is not a central subject. Now there may be possibility of certain confusion, like what is this? All of them are central except this one. So they might be asked about union list. You have to be careful about not. There may be negation or even sometimes double negation will be asked. You have to be careful doing these questions. Now the concept of union list, state list and concurrent list is enshrined in which schedule? This is a 7th schedule. From where this has arrived? This is 1935 Act, Government of India 1935 Act, right? What is the drawback that we are having? The residuary subjects. Then it was Governor General and now it is the central government. And whenever there is a law that is made by the state and center on the same subject, like GST we are having under Amendment Act 101. Which Amendment Act? 101 Amendment Act. Under this act, the state as well as center can make law on the GST. Now whenever there is a conflict arise between center and state, it is the center that prevails over these areas where they can be able to make laws on the concurrent list. Now let us look into the articles that have been transferred from the state list to concurrent list. What is a concurrent list? Concurrent is the list of the subjects where both center and state can be able to make laws. The first one is education, and then forestry, and then wildlife and bird protection, the administration of justice, and weights and measures. These are the areas where it has been transferred from the state list to concurrent list for the betterment. And also the committees and commissions, these are successive committees appointed. As I told you, Article 356 is the most misused article so far in the Constitution of India, that several times whenever there is a change of regime in the central government, if any government is not in favor of, any state government is not in favor of the central government, there is a huge possibility of imposing president rule under the Article 356. That is the reason why it became very much controversial. And to solve this problem, it is first thing is SR Bommai case and Sarkaria Commission are the some of the very important areas. They have suggested some measures not to have conflicting federalism. Instead, there should be a cooperative federalism we should have. These are the very much important areas in that process of achieving a better federal nation instead of having a conflicting or a controversial federal country. And then Punchi Commission is talking about center-state relations in the context of socio-economic conditions. These two are mostly about Article 356. Sarkaria Commission and Bommai case are about center and state relations based on Article 356. Now Punchi Commission is about changing socio-economic conditions between the center and states. Under which area this comes? This may be coming under the financial, and this may be coming under the legislative and executive. And then Raja Chelai case is a committee is also one area where we have tried to better our center and state relations so that we can have a developed country. And then which committee was appointed to examine and recommend on center state relations in India? This is a Sarkaria Commission was appointed for the purpose of recommending better center state relations. Thank you very much.